MattDoesFitness has gained 14 kilos of muscle, mostly in 7 weeks, which for anyone that has been training for any period of time is really questionable. What's going on YouTube, it's Jason, and in this video, we're going to be discussing MattDoesFitness's recent transformation. For those of you that haven't been keeping up, MattDoesFitness has gained 14 kilos of muscle, mostly in 7 weeks, which for anyone that has been training for any period of time is really questionable. What I'm going to do is go through a few factors to discuss how he gained it, and at the end, I'm going to give my verdict on whether or not he has taken any special supplements. Point number one is muscle memory, and this is a really important point. If you built a certain amount of muscle and you lose it, you can gain that same muscle back 2 or 3 times as fast. This is very different to someone gaining lean tissue for the first time. A lot of people that are criticizing Matt are thinking about their own journey and how hard it is to build muscle. But when you look at Matt's after photo, he's not gaining fresh tissue. He's around the same weight and around the same size that he's always been. So I would say this 14 kilos, at least part of it, is just regaining back his old tissue that he had before the surgery. Point number 2 is muscle glycogen. So when we consume carbohydrates, they go into our system and get stored in the muscles as glycogen. Whenever they're stored in the muscles, they actually attract water. And carbohydrates plus water in the muscles leads to this feeling and look of fullness. So whenever you go to a bodybuilding show, if you've ever seen one, I've done 2 shows, what you see is that people manipulate muscle glycogen. So they'll deplete themselves a few days before the show, and this is where they'll be at their most stringy and skinny. And then 1 or 2 days before, and definitely on show day, they will pack in the carbs and carb load to fill out the muscles. And this is kind of what happened with Matt. When Matt was in hospital, he wouldn't have been eating many carbs, probably would have been eating an atrocious diet if it's anything like the hospital diets that I've seen. And so when he came out of hospital and started eating normally again, filling up on carbs, his muscles would immediately be fuller. And so if you look at his photo in the hospital, he looks scrawny and depleted, and then afterwards he looks fuller. And I would say part of this weight, maybe even like 4 kilos or so, possibly more, could be glycogen. And if you think, when you go out on the weekend and you have a blowout, you always end up weighing a little bit more on Monday. Let's say you had like pizza and beers. When you weigh yourself even 1 day apart, you may be like 2 or even 3 kilos heavier depending on what you ate. This is not body fat. This again is just that bloat we're speaking about, glycogen and water retention, and it's no different to what's happened to Matt. Point number 3 is genetics. And again, this is super important because a lot of people that are judging Matt in the comments, with all due respect, do not have the same genetic capacity. They may have average or below average genetics, and they think how hard it is for them to gain muscle and try and project that on MattDoesFitness. But if you look at Matt's bloodline, his brother, his sister, and you look at how quickly they gained muscle, and you look at where they were when they started, their starting point was miles ahead of most people's. So the second they started touching weights and eating properly and having good protein and sleep, their gains are going to go through the roof. So MattDoesFitness's genetics are pretty good, to be honest. And so his muscle building potential and ability to rebound after a layoff of training is going to be greater than most people's. Point number 4 is body fat. Now, the untrained eye won't be able to see this because they will just see Matt in his before photo and after photo looking muscular. They will see abs in both photos and think all of that 14 kilos was muscle. But when you look a little bit closer, look at Matt's quads in the after photo, and there is no muscle separation in his quads. When you look at his before photo in the hospital, there is muscle separation. I would say there is at least about 5% body fat between the 2 photos. Matt looks in the before photo like he probably isn't too far away from stepping on stage, single digit body fat. And I would say in the after photo, Matt is going to be around 14 to 15% body fat. Most people don't understand how body fat works. So MattDoesFitness gained 14 kilos. So let's break that down. 82 kilos times 2.2 to get pounds. Matt would have been around 180 pounds in the before photo. If we times that by 5 and say he gained around 5% body fat, Matt would have gained around 9 pounds in body fat alone. If we round that up to say 10 pounds give and take, that's the best part of 5 kilos. So that 14 kilo weight gain, outside the glycogen and muscle memory and anything like that, 5 kilos of that give and take would have been body fat. And point number 5 is a good pump and good lighting. Now, by this stage, most people know how much of a difference it makes. It probably makes you look 2 or 3% leaner. We see all the fitness influencers literally show us their before and after transformations with a pump and good lighting. Yet when someone is under good lighting with a pump, we still get deceived and say, oh my gosh, all that 14 kilos must be muscle, they must be on steroids, what is their steroid stack, what's their cycle, blah, blah, blah. Matt has just finished a workout in the after photo, so he looks shredded, pumped and full. And you can see it, it's in his gym. But people still like knee-jerk react to the photo and start throwing out steroid accusations. I would say this after photo makes him look a lot leaner than he actually is. And the final bonus point is that Matt has been through stringent WADA testing. For all his sins, he has done the tests to prove that he is natural. Now, I'm going to be brutally honest. At first, I raised an eyebrow with Matt's gains and his natty status, but at the end of the day, he did the tests that 99% of fitness influencers who claim natural are not willing to do. Like, once someone's been through that testing, if you're going to say he's unnatural, then you've got to question every other sprinter or athlete out there as well, because they go under the same testing. And so Matt, having been through this testing and passed, I can't sit here and say I definitely think that he's not natural. So yeah, what are my final thoughts? If I were to scrutinize the 14 kilos that he gained, I would say around 6 kilos is muscle, maybe at a push 7 kilos, but that's not new tissue. That is existing lean tissue that he lost and has just regained. I would say 7 to 8 kilos of what he gained is a mixture of muscle, glycogen and body fat. So kind of weighing all that up, I don't think he took performance enhancing drugs to make these gains. I know he left a comment, I think, below about the Morzia app and how he was following that training program. And I know a lot of people will say that he was dishonest because he put that he gained 14 kilos and then said that he'd been following the Morzia app. But I just think that's good marketing. I think he follows the Morzia app all year round, and this is no different. So yeah, don't go and sign up to the Morzia app and think you're going to gain 14 kilos, but he's probably following the Morzia app like he would any other time. So they're my thoughts. I don't think Matt used steroids to gain these 14 kilos, but let me know if you think any different in the comments. Do you think he took steroids? Do you think it's natural? Let me know. Don't forget to like this video if you found it informative. Subscribe to my channel to follow me on this journey, and I'll see you again soon.